for entertainment purposes only.
Greetings, everyone. I am Tiamat Kramer here with Princess Basia of Great Nature. We are from Church of Tribal Nations United Ministries, and today I would like to talk to her a little bit about her case and what a default judgment is. Could you explain to us what that is?
Yeah. So a default judgment in the United States District Court is when you have a civil action that has commenced with the United States District Court, no matter what area you're in, and you have your case, you have your summons that is issued from the clerk, and you have it served by another party other than yourself. And that could be serviced by a sheriff, a marshal, or a process server. And so when you're having a civil case for damages where you're actually going to get monetary damages back and things like that, you have to actually personally serve the other party. So in this case, the party, who was Ken Paxton, in case number 1:20-CV-02055-TNM, Ken Paxton is actually the party. He was served personally, and he failed to respond, he failed to rebut, and he failed to answer in that case. And therefore, once you fail to answer after you've been personally served, you have so many days to respond. If you don't respond, now that party can actually file a notice of entry for default and a notice of entry for default judgment. And we did that in that case, and the clerk signed the default judgment, and that means that the party won against Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton never rebutted it, he never motioned to vacate, and he never appealed that case.
A quick question for you. Who is Ken Paxton? Could you elaborate more?
Yes, Ken Paxton is Texas Attorney General, and Ken Paxton was sued for his torturous interference and sued for his use of public funds in a court case that he was actually personally served in a personal capacity. He was served and sued in a personal capacity and in his official capacity. And I can give you that case number too.
Really quick.
Yes.
What is he still the Attorney General?
Yes, he is. He is still the Texas Attorney General. You can even see this timeline when you look at the cases. You're going to see that he's been impeached, but then all of a sudden it was overturned.
Okay, and then what year did this happen again?
This originally happened in 2019, and he was sued in year 2020, March, by the chief ministers of our tribal church. What happened was two of the chief ministers were traveling. One was my ex-husband, was my husband at the time in 2019. December 10th, 2019, they were falsely arrested by a state trooper in Texas, Conrad Dominguez, without a warrant. Conrad Dominguez, Texas state trooper, without a warrant. And you know how they do in Texas on that good I-40. They said, "Oh, I smell marijuana," and he searched the car without a warrant, and then found nothing. Then he brung out two other state troopers, and all of a sudden the state trooper jumped in our tribal truck without a warrant and said, "Oh, I found marijuana."
Hold on, you saying that they took the truck? Like, they got in the truck and took the truck?
They got in the truck, said, "I got marijuana," and drove it off the scene. No tow truck or nothing. That's what they did. Violating due process because there was never a warrant. And we got it in other court cases where shows there was never a warrant for the tribal truck.
Wow, no tow truck. They got in and took the truck with y'all behind y'all after they got arrested.
Yes, after the tribal ministers got arrested. Wow. One was my husband at the time. And so they took them to Oldham County. They arrested them, didn't let them see a magistrate immediately, none of these things. And then as a tribal ministry, they didn't let us get our tribal ministers out and told us that we would have to hire Texas attorneys, licensed Texas attorneys, even to get our tribal ministers out.
So you couldn't even use your own lawyers. You had to use lawyers from Texas specifically.
Specifically, we were forced to do so. So we hired these attorneys because we interviewed with them, Adam Brian Tisdale and Daniel Micah Miller, and they said that they were involved in a case in Texas in the United States District Court. That case is United States of America versus Anude Gonzalez 2:19-CR-190-Z. They said that they were in a case similar to ours and that case would be dismissed, and showed us these things because they told us Texas law says that you cannot call anything marijuana without having certified lab testing capabilities. And they said Texas had none of these things, and that their case was going to be dismissed and our case would be dismissed easily. So our tribal trust hired them for their services and paid $30,000 for them to perform, and they did no performance.
Oh no.
For 3 months. Didn't produce a thing. So we terminated their services. After we terminated their services, we filed a deprivation of rights lawsuit. The tribal ministers did, and one of those parties were Ken Paxton, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton.
Wow.
And that Ken Paxton is the same person in this default judgment. And that Ken Paxton was sued because he started to use public funds to help fight his case that he was personally sued in.
This is very interesting. Stay tuned for more. Thank you for tuning in. Have a lovely rest of the day.
Yes.
Thank you.